Welcome to a special of Israel Tech. I'm really great to be here with the founders of Israeli Tech Delivers No Matter What. I'll let you ladies introduce yourself, but maybe Aliza, I want actually to ask you first. Here we're at where you work at Startup Nation Central. What is it about Israeli Tech Delivers? How did the campaign go about, and what was the goal that you guys were trying to achieve?
Okay, so this campaign actually started 2.5 months ago when we were all shocked after the October 7th, and everybody was very busy with the humanitarian challenges. And the group of us, we were sitting together, and representing the Israeli tech with Viola and the G-CMO forum, which has a very, very big representation of many CMOs from the Israeli tech business. And we actually said, listen, we need to take care of our sector, and we need to make sure that we are protecting the sector, because we know the sector is very resilient, and we need to tell this story loud and clear to the global customers to make sure that we will have business continuity, and that we actually equipped the entire ecosystem with the right messages, with the right tools to be able to amplify the resilient story in front of the customers. So that was the original intent of this campaign.
Merav, I'm head of marketing at Viola.
What does Viola do?
So Viola is the largest tech investment group in Israel. We manage over $5 billion. We invested in over 200 companies, Israeli-related companies. Some of them are Israel's biggest companies like Ironsons, Pioneer, SimilarWeb, Firm Analytics, Payzen, and so on. We have four different investment vehicles. So we basically start from seed stage, like first check to companies, and take them up to IPO. And we also have a debt investment vehicle and a dedicated fund in the fintech space. At the beginning of the war, just after the events of October 7th, we spoke with our companies. And there was a lot of challenges on business continuity. Like this was the major problem, because a lot of employees were needed for reserve duty. Like between 10 to 15% of the employees were gone to reserve duty, and a lot of companies started to ask us, what should we do? How should we manage? How should we maintain business continuity with, people were staying at home. There was a lot of alerts and we couldn't go into the offices. We started to have a lot of discussions with founders and CEOs. From these discussions, we understood that there was a need for specific messaging to the world to convey the message that Israel continues to work. We continue to come to the offices, and if not, we can deliver even if we are working from our homes. So I think that was the preliminary goal, just to provide some answers to customers and investors out of Israel, just calling our portfolio companies and asking them, how are you? Are you able to work? Are you able to deliver? Will you be able to continue developing products or doing customer success and so on? We had to come up with some kind of message. And then we spoke with our friends from Startup Nation Central, because they are doing a lot for the brand of the Israeli tech ecosystem outside of Israel. And we said, let's do something together, because we need to get the message out there. And then together with Sophie and the G-CMO, we gathered a lot of from the marketing, marketing professionals, just gathered together and put our hands and said, let's find some kind of messaging that will, help us deliver the notion that business continuity can be done even in times of war. So that was the goal.
How is it different from, let's say, during lockdowns and Corona? Obviously, people had no experience really working from home full time, and then that had to happen. Were there similarities and parallels?
So basically, the Israeli ecosystem has always been very agile. We have passed the COVID experience, so we know how to manage in times of working from home, right? So that wasn't new for the ecosystem. I think what was new that a lot of employees were in reserve, duty, and that meant to a lot of companies just managing differently, having to find new solutions, either by different platforms that provided assistance, or by taking a team and letting him do something completely different. But the amazing thing was that we always say that Israeli tech founders are very agile, and I think the events of October were just proof of that exactly, right? I mean, the agility of the Israeli tech ecosystem was at its best.
Sophie, you're heading up or you're co-founder of a G-CMO.
Co-founder.
Co-founder. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what G-CMO is in general, what it was, let's say, before the war, and how has your responsibilities changed given as priorities have changed in the Israeli tech ecosystem?
So first of all, the forum exists for 5 years now. It was co-founded by me and by Shiri and Efrat as well. And the idea was to get all of the leading CMOs and VPs of global companies operating from Israel under the same roof, first for networking, but then for educating the next generation of marketeers and providing us the next G-CMO next gen, if you will. So we were doing these two main things. All three of us are members at the forum. It's a very strong forum. We have each other back from sharing suppliers from all over the world, but also changing minds, etc. I think at the beginning of the war, as Aliza told us just a minute ago, we were all in a state of shock, and we were diving into whatever we could. So we did mainly humanitarian jobs, and also we went to I'm speaking for myself. I have my advertising background, so I went back to my advertising friends, and we started work on different campaigns just to do something. And I think after 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks, we came up with this. Okay, so let's do something for our own community and put our leg down where our weight will be shown. So that was the initial idea for us get together. With me from the forum, there is Amit Bivas, Yael Shatsky, and Johnny Steele from ex-Pioneer, and also our fourth leg in this effort is Carmel from Atrio. Atrio is a branding agency. So we got together and we started to think how we convey the message and how we get it correctly without saying, because there is a war here. So how do we say, despite of the war, without being rude or neglecting that situation, and saying to the world, despite of everything, we continue to deliver as we always do.
We actually saw how the industry really not only adopted the message of Israeli tech delivers no matter what, but actually walked the talk. And by actually delivering product earlier than expected, by seeing investments, new investments, by seeing new merging of companies. So I think that this is really showing that we never stopped, correct? And I think this is the beauty, and this is very much the beauty of this campaign, if I may say, is I think it because it was not identified with anybody. It was an open source campaign. So everybody could take it and use it as he wanted. And we saw it everywhere. We saw so many ways of creativity. And for me, seeing the founders of the company posted it, not even the marketing people in the organization, that was amazing, because it was a strong business message. And we were very picky about the words deliver, because this is what is the most important feature for, I would say, attributes to the customers. They want to know that they're going to get their product on time. This is why the delivery message here is so important. But we do it regardless. Even the circumstances are very unusual, we will do it. And I think this is why the industry embraced it. And the outcome of this that we saw, I think we continue to see it. I mean, and this is still ongoing. And we see even evolution of this. But I think as of today, we have more than 1,000 startups which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Adopted this and still putting it in the front.
Do you think this is uniquely Israeli? Or do you think that maybe, obviously, what you would know, other cultures, push comes to shove, under certain circumstances, would do the same thing?
I think it's very Israeli.
I'll tell you why it is. I'll tell you why. When we had one of our suppliers in Ukraine for my SaaS product, Cyfluencer, when the war broke out, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I was worried. Are they going to deliver what's going on? Especially in the earlier days of the war, it seemed much scarier for mainland, most Ukraine. And of course, I worried, are you going to deliver? I was, they had the keys to my product. And so in a sense, there was kind of I sensed that there was, the CEO was very much committed to making things happen and work and communicating that. But there was this sense of lack of unity and a lot of people left. On the other hand, when the war broke out here, they said 130% of the reserves that were called, so more than everyone that was called, volunteered and came back to Israel, people that were abroad or away, because it was holidays, so a lot of people would travel on holidays, and people came back. So there's this sense of we have an obligation to step up and deliver that I find is uniquely Israeli.
I think, as I told you before, the main character for Israeli tech entrepreneurs is agility. No matter what, you throw them in the sea, they will swim, right? They will definitely deliver. And it's not the first time that we've seen the tech ecosystem deliver under war, right? So we had several events during the years, and also SNC, if you want to mention that, you have a research showing that even in previous wars, tech ecosystem was strong enough to overcome that. I think the one thing that was a little bit different this time, that we are living in a very different year. So we had global economy, which is, struggling this year. Added to that, the judicial revolution that had some kind of effect on reputation of Israel in general and the Israeli economy in particular. And then you add a war to that, three factors that made it a little bit difficult for companies to fundraise. And that's the one point which I think is a little bit different for the Israeli tech ecosystem this year, which is why we're so proud of the founders who, they maintained their business continuity. They said, I know personally of CEOs who told their team, we are going to do better than our competition in the US. The customers told them, you are a country in risk and we are not sure that you are going to deliver on time. So maybe, we're considering not signing a new contract. And the CEO said, you know what? We are going to do better than the US competitors. And, we are going to show on every meeting. And the CEO was at every meeting with every customer, during this period, just to show them that they take it seriously. And, we know personally of CEOs who were in the shelter, getting on a Zoom and speaking with the customer success or with the CTO or with the CISO or CIO and telling them we are here, even under sirens, even if we need to go to the shelter once in a while, we are here and we continue to give you whatever we promised you we will do. And that is amazing. And we know that the CEOs of the Israeli companies received amazing feedbacks from their customers and from their investors on, just continue showing up, providing whatever they promised to deliver. And this is, I think, something which is very, very unique to the Israeli entrepreneurs. I don't think that you'll find it anywhere else in the world.
Right, I think so too. So do you think, in a sense, one of the silver linings of the war is that sometimes, when things are tough, we overcome them. We do what we can to overcome them. And that makes us stronger, in a sense, right? Do you think we'll find the tech ecosystem actually more resilient, more stronger, better well-networked, more unified, better delivering for their clients because of the war? Because the need to feel like to step up will have us then force us to be better than our counterparts and competitors abroad?
So basically, I think we have no choice. Like Golda Meir said, exactly. We have no choice. but to do better. It's a difficult year for technology at large. Global economy is not making it easier. And the situation is in Israel is even doubling the challenge. You need to understand that for enterprises or investors outside of Israel to continue working with an Israeli company, it's a risk. And they don't love risks.
Right.
So for them, they need to de-risk, right?
Uh-huh.
We need to continue and say, Israel is not a risk. We have been there before.
Right.
And we come out better from
Right.
any challenge that we have been experiencing in the
Right.
past. We are seeing, there are challenges, I won't lie, right? Nothing is perfect and nothing is too pink, right? The reality is not easy. We're seeing fundraising go down. We're seeing less M&As and so on. But we're seeing amazing entrepreneurs. We're seeing new startups come up with this new innovation wave of generative AI. And we're seeing a lot of ambitious teams. And you know what? I think even from the military activity now, there will be a lot of innovation coming out of the army, right?
That's where a lot of innovation
So the
comes from.
combination of the needs of the army and the Israeli technology skills, the combination of them is going to bring out something really interesting. And I believe that this is going to be like the new wave of big Israeli companies out of Israel. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Do you want to speak to that, Sophie or Aliza? Higher risk, higher reward. So those that are worried about the risk, people would always say Israel is a little more risky. There's far more reward in more risk. And that's one of the reasons why the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange has outperformed almost all stock exchanges historically. Yeah, Aliza.
Yes, another sector to add to what Merav said, another sector that we see growing is the mental health sector, under the health sector. And I think this is also a great example, unfortunately, in a very bad circumstances, correct? But we see that the necessity actually create innovation.
Right, like always.
And this is the story of our life, correct? Because this is what we do in Israel forever. We have innovation that is a result of necessity of challenges, unfortunately. But this is the innovation that we are very proud of. It's a different innovation than other countries.
Yeah.
It's not a standard innovation.
Right.
This is why it's so quick and it's so agile. And by the way, at Startup Nation Central, we call it impatient innovation.
Would you say it again?
Impatient innovation, because this is what we see in Israel. We see impatient innovation. Unlike the standard innovation, here it's impatient that if you look, people are not waiting to get permission to do something. And they're acting very fast and responding very fast, as we did, by the way. This is a great example for impatient innovation.
Yeah.
And if you look around you and all the citizens that actually volunteered and the entities that were established like in few days to help to solve humanitarian challenges, this is an amazing example for impatient innovation.
Right.
We are not waiting to get permission. We just act to solve the problem.
Right, and we didn't need the government involved, we didn't need anyone else.
But also, the country of Israel is very optimistic, correct? And not afraid of taking risks. So all this combination together is the story of our life. And this is no matter what, we will deliver. Because this is what we have to do.
So I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more about mental health. There is a new initiative that is dealing with post-trauma and actually creating an immune system for soldiers that are getting immune before going to war, and then it reduces the state of post-trauma.
Wow, how do they do that?
By this some sort of video game that the soldiers just see before going to battle, and this immune lasts for 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's crazy.
What is this video game?
No, it's like a regular video game. It was designed by Professor Yair Bar Chaim. He's the head of psychology at Tel Aviv University. And it was just in the lab. And within 2 months, it became a product, right? All of the units now are becoming immunized. And it's crazy, right? And within 2 months, not only in tech we deliver we are as Israelis, we have this something in the water that we have to deliver. We have to get this done. No matter how, through the window, through the door, we'll get it done.
Yeah, I mean, the brand Israel Tech was just like born. I was planning on launching in March, April. I already had the logo and the brand. I was like, all right, we'll do it later. I was waiting for some people from my team to return back from maternity leave. And I was like, well, now's the time. and I just put it together and just started making phone calls and let's go. And so it's, do you just make it happen? You know, I find there's a lot less talk, more action. It's like you have an idea, let's walk, and then it's execute. It's not about, it's less about egos. It's about the mission, the vision, the goal. And that's very uniquely Israeli, and we've been very resilient through that. How much of that culture is out of necessity? Do you think maybe it comes from maybe the army, or where do you think this culture comes from? And how are we able to, those that are working in tech, keep that kind of culture, being able to innovate and rapidly adapt in order to improve our technology and also better serve our customers abroad?
So I think it goes back to what I've just said before. It's in our water. It's in our nature to live here and live in prosperity in the Middle East. Come up with cherry tomatoes and thriving the desert. This is what we do. We don't take no, and we just find a solutions. So we continue to do that through wars and through nice times as well. So I mean, the book Startup Nation Central is based on that.
Actually, I'd like for you to talk a little bit about Startup Nation Central. What are you guys? What do you guys do in general? Let's say before the war was your mission, and how has it adapted since?
Oh, beautiful question, because actually what we do today is this is what we were born to do. We are a non-profit organization, which is important to say, established 10 years ago with a very, very clear goal to strengthen the Israeli economy and society. That's it.
Amazing.
But focusing very much on the Israeli tech sector. So what we want to do is to bring the Israeli tech industry to the front, to the global world. We are here to connect the people in the world that are looking for solutions, innovative solutions with the Israeli, which are the problem solvers with innovation. So our focus here is to connect Israeli startups, the Israeli tech ecosystem with global entities, to bring them together to create better business.
So your mission hasn't changed. This is almost the goal.
Correct. So
but how does your day-to-day, let's say, work look like now compared to before Rosh Hashanah last year?
So for us, it was very obvious that this is what we have to do. So as soon as the crisis, or as soon as the war started, it was very clear to us that we need to stand for the startups, correct? So within 2 weeks, we established here a war room, called it the Central Hub, and within a week, we got requests from around 600 startups asking us to help them with funding, with the business connections, with the advisory. So this is immediately what we did. Of course, we are not bringing the funding ourselves, but we are doing the connections with partners like Viola and other venture capitals, etc. So I would like to refer to the G-CMO forum, which I'm a marketeer already 30 years in global companies and is in the Israeli ecosystem. And I have to say that this is the best, most valuable community that I'm a member of. That every time that you are reaching out, you will get a value proposition. Always get new best practices, new knowledge. And for me, this is a place that if I need something, I need a shortcut, I can get it very, very fast. And the team members are super professional. And I think also I have to give credit to Sophie and her peers. This is a very, very well and efficient organization or community. But one of the best, if not the best for me.
Yeah, so do you want to talk a little bit more about like G-CMO? Because from the outside, right, people just think, oh, it's just a group of people that are doing similar things. And so they get together and maybe they just, they have a WhatsApp group like a lot of other people. But how has G-CMO been able to mobilize to help each other and make a difference for the Israeli tech ecosystem?
So first, it's a community in a very profound sense of community. We are here for each other. When we interview new members, we have no SL-free policy. We can exclude members based on their personality, even if they're holding a very high position, because we need mensches before anything else. And I think this is the secret sauce of the community of the forum, because we are here we're holding each other back. So this is one. And second, and we're trying also to maintain it very friendly. We organize not now because of the war, but we're going to go back to it quite soon. We are holding meetups on various subjects, from professional to just hanging out and having fun, and we are allowing people to make friends, because as you said at the beginning, all of us are people, so it's people to people, peer to peer. This is one. And second, that is also very important for us, is as I said earlier, is educating the next generation. All of our members are very committed to this mission, because they are asked to give lectures and to mentor young marketeers. And I've never had a no when I reached out to Aliza or to Merav or to all the other 170 members and ask with an ask. I also got a yes, and what more? Can I share or can I give? So I think this is the true essence of the community.
What are the main requests that come to the G-CMO community? If there's certain kind of mentorship, what kind of mentorship is it? Is it to get into marketing, better understand tech? Isn't it? What is the value of the community? Someone from the outside that wants to join, what's the first thing they feel in addition to community, a sense of belonging, and obviously a vast wealth of information?
Okay, so basically what we do, we mentor or teach the global marketing practices to local marketeers, and then we help them elevate themselves into global marketing roles. But I also want to convey something else. The first reason, the main reason that G-CMO was founded was when I was working at Outbrain, and the CEO lives in New York, and the CMO, they were looking for a new CMO, and they weren't even thinking of me. And I was operating from here, doing regional roles, because I was not an American marketeer. And I was like, but why? I mean, I'm qualified enough, I can do it from here. And then it occurred that there are others like me that were doing fantastic marketing from here. You could only look at all the fantastic companies, Pioneer and Fiverr and Lemonade and Microsoft. Everything is operated from here. So why not just change this notion? And we started to, so G-CMO was founded, and we started to work to convey this message. And then came Corona, and very easy to convey that it doesn't matter where you sit it's based on your talent and not on your location.
And I would
because you could have worked from everywhere, but
right.
Before that, it was we had a hard time convincing.
Right before Corona, it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I did a live AMA with 2 other marketing agency leaders, competitors, called Keeping Your Marketing in Israel. You can search for it on LinkedIn. We did a live there on YouTube. And the whole thing is that we had some clients, I think there was like this thing going on right before Corona. Oh, let's take our marketing to America, be near sales, or maybe the CEO had to temporarily relocate there and he wanted near him or herself. And then what we found was that they're slow as hell. They don't understand generally speaking, longer sales cycles that involved in Israeli tech. Even if they're tech marketers, it's usually B2C. Many of them are in America. They don't know how to move fast. They don't know how to deal with chutzpah. They don't know how to push boundaries. They're always, okay, I replied to the email, I'll get back to it tomorrow. There wasn't this sense of like urgency and ownership. And I think when Israeli marketers are working on Israeli technology, or in general, if you want speed, results, and people to tell them, hey, do this, if there isn't a way, they'll make a way. Then working with Israeli marketers, I found is a huge advantage. And we found that I have an American client, there's no connection to Israel. There's even one Judah company, a big cyber company in LA. They stopped working with my company, Wadi Digital, twice and came back a third time. They're 10 hours behind because they keep trying to go. Their VC first pushed them on this other marketing agency who charge them triple, and they're too slow to reply, and they make all these promises and they don't deliver. Speaking of delivering, and everything's just there. They don't know how to move quick, and they didn't have the B2B tech, let alone the cybersecurity experience, this other agency. And so they came back a third time, and we have another client signing back a third time that's in New York. There's no connection to Israel. And this is what we're finding, is that we're able to be far faster. We're able to make things happen even when they can't. There's a will, there's a way, as Herzl would say, and that's kind of been a prime part of Israeli culture. And you see that in marketing and in the G-CMO network. Yeah, Merav.
Yeah, I think there's another angle for that. Israel was, for a long time, a B2B kind of ecosystem, right? Gradually, you started to see more and more digital distribution, right? And you see, it's, by the way, it doesn't have to be B2C companies, right? But we are living at the age of digital distribution. And I think that the Israelis are very strong at that skill. That's what enables us to basically do great marketing out of Israel and not take a CMO or have the whole go-to-market out of the US. But I think we have a really strong muscle in digital distribution, and you see the go-to-market team of Payoneer and Iron Source and SimilarWeb and Monday and a lot of other huge companies, which are global companies, and they have like, I don't know, 30 or 40 or even 100 markets all over the world, but the marketing is done from Israel. And I think that's because we have that skill, and we have developed it during the last, 10 to 15 years. And that's an advantage to work, that enables us to work out of Israel.
Do you think there's a lot of growth into B2C in Israel? I'm seeing a little bit more wearables and some things.
Definitely.
So, yeah, no, this is fascinating to me, right? So where do you think, why is this happening now? Where is it coming from, kind of? Because in a sense, I mean, it didn't come from nowhere. I want to get free. Where do you think it came from? Because a few years ago, you would have said B2C, Israel pass.
Right.
But now we're seeing that's not the case anymore. I think it's developing pretty rapidly.
You have Playtika, and you have Iron Source, Lightrix, and you have Simply. I think it's a combination of, part of it is a result of having Google and Facebook operate in Israel, and they have a really strong team in Israel, and they work with the Israeli tech ecosystem to develop that skills and just try to initiate more and more. They have people on the ground helping B2C companies, and that's been very helpful. And I think also, it's part of the evolution of the age maybe that we are living at, that businesses are not either B2B or B2C, they are tech-enabled services. You can have everything, basically, you're driving in, you want to go in New York from one place to the other, and you're taking Uber, right?
Right.
So basically, Uber is the technology company. Is it the
driving company?
Right? So that's the question. So the same question to almost any vertical that you want, right? Buying an apartment, you can have an app that you can just pay $5 and be part of a group that buys the apartments. You can order food from anywhere you want. You don't have to go to the grocery, and these are the basic stuffs. I think the opportunities in B2C are immense. We have a long way to go yet.
Right.
And I think because of the skills in digital distribution, I think Israel can build large companies in that space. By the way, that consumer businesses are not only consumer goods, right? Take, for example, a company called Fay. Or Lemonade, right? They are doing insurance for consumers, right? But that's a B2C company, totally, right? We used to have like the checkpoints of Israel, right? Doing a B2B or B2 SMB. Now you have a lot of Israeli companies
B2C,
that do B2C companies, like where we can secure your personal network. That's something that wasn't before. So basically, consumer touches almost any vertical that we know of.
Right. That's a good point. So, yeah, if you can, this thing was interesting that you're talking about like what's developing these industries as a marketer, and Sophie, I want to hear from you after Aliza, that I found one company is like Natural Intelligence really developed, I think, a lot of Israeli marketers that had no way of learning or anything. They really brought them in. And then another industry, which is a dirty industry, which has been banned, but I've seen so many people get really, Forex. I have seen some of the best SEO. We have the biggest and advertisers and landing page optimization, conversion rate optimization. I've seen some of the best marketers come out of Forex. Thank God it's banned, it's an immoral industry. But I found such just regular folks that would have never made their way into tech or marketing or anything have really found that as a launching pad. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to add to what Merav said. I agree 100% with her analysis. I think also that as a marketeer, even I'm a B2B, at the end of the day, I'm doing marketing to the persona and
Right.
not to the business.
Right.
So I need to find you in the relevant channels. Even
Right.
if I'm doing a LinkedIn campaign, or I need to find you in the Instagram and the LinkedIn.
Right.
So the message needs to be very much to the persona and not to the business.
Right.
And this is why we all have to change the attitude and to come with messages that are talking to the individual and not to the company. And that makes everything B2B2C.
Right. Right. That's a great point. That's one of the challenges that maybe, and Sophie, I want to hear you chime in as a marketing leader, is how do you speak to the individual? You know, in marketing, unfortunately, businesses do marketing behind a logo, not behind a human. Or people don't associate. People want to connect with a human. They're like, I don't know who's posting this, who's behind this, where they're located. So I think maybe bringing that human element, if you have a strong personality, if you're an extrovert, if you're strong on socials, use an individual can actually help lead your Israeli tech company through your personal brand. Not always, it might be better, more effective, and be able to provide more value than doing it through your company's social media pages.
First of all, I agree with Aliza because we definitely advertise or market to human beings. It's H to H all the time, and this CISO that buys the system in the morning, he plays with the kids, is the same person who plays with his kids in the afternoon. And to your point earlier, he needs to listen to a story that will convey him, and then we need to acknowledge the insight that we can push, because if we understand that what he buys from us, from my product, is sense of security, or sense of belonging, doesn't matter, and we can play on that, this what will differentiate my product from the others. And this is something that exists in B2C and B2B, doesn't matter. And I think that the B2B industry in Israel, the marketing B2B industry in Israel, understands that now. This fact that the B2C marketeers know, you will buy diaper based on what it makes you, for your child, based on what it will make you feel as a father, right? You will be proud that your child is wearing this diaper because it's the same notion. So, and that's why I think marketing has evolved in a way, but also gone back to basics after this last 20 years. It went all the way to digital, from branding to digital, and now it's back to telling a story, but a real story that you can put a KPI on that story and then deliver on the story and then sell on the story. And this is, a daydream for a marketeer.
Right, it really is. I've always say I'm so blessed what the work I'm able to do, and the human to human, the people we get to work with, and their stories and all of that. That really needs to be, when we're doing marketing, and specifically when we're talking about Israeli tech delivering, that is the story of itself. It's not just like a tagline, right? Is that we're here? Is that the story? Is that we're working from the bomb shelter? The story is that the CEO is getting on calls that he wouldn't have during times of peace, and when they may have had more time on their hands, right? Is that we're going to prove ourselves, and we need to retain our clients even more. So we're going to over deliver and prove that. We're going to bring in more friends and partners and things to help support us. Our spouses and our children, everyone else is stepping up to do what they can. You have nonprofits like, so Aliza, like you with Startup Nation Central, helping however you can, in a sense, having kind of like a startup war room right here in the hub. So I think there's a lot there that we can do, and it really goes around the stories of the individuals that kind of crafts the uniqueness of the Israeli tech culture and Israeli society, which makes us deliver more than anyone else, whether it's in peace or in war.
I think the beauty and the success of this campaign of Israeli Tech Delivers is that we haven't invented anything. We just put a headline on an existing story.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
The story is this how we are rolling for the last 75 years? So, and that's why this campaign was adopted within the tech system because of its truthfulness.
It was amazing to see how viral it got. Like people felt it was their campaign. It was amazing to see.
Right.
Like people posted that there were no logos on the campaign to begin with. It was our decision just, to make it just a clean campaign,
Right.
just for everyone to feel comfortable, just to put it on their social. Either you're a VC or a funder or a CEO, a CTO, or I don't know, a customer success, whatever you do in the ecosystem, then it's your message. And it started rolling out, and we were like, we felt so strongly about the message, and we put it out to the world. And we just saw people starting, to embrace it because people felt like they needed something to be proud of, right? They needed some sense of togetherness to say to the world, we are united,
right.
We are strong,
right.
and we can deliver no matter what will happen, right? And we're on the right and the moral side of history, no matter what others will say in the world. And the tech industry is just an example of Israel's agility and Israel's capacity to take something like a desert and turn it into a beautiful, green, successful country. That I haven't mentioned this before, but that today Israel is standing at the third place in terms of VC funding for generative AI companies. Third place. I mean, this is unbelievable, right? And we were just looking at the S&C report, 1,600 companies in the climate space, which is unimaginable, right?
Yeah.
So we have the solar age of the world, right?
Right.
But you have early companies like doing fintech for climate, right? Carbon points, or I don't know, like really amazing things. Like we invested in a company called Mash Foods, which turns the mycelium from mushrooms to alternative for meat, right? And they're doing amazing work in the US. So climate, health tech,
right?
Of course, fintech and cyber, which are the basics of the Israeli ecosystem. So and agri-food, right? So much innovation from such a small country in the size of New Jersey, right?
Right.
And I think that's the magic. I mean, everyone in Israel feels they are part of the same community, right? We are the same tribe.
Exactly.
Right? And I think that's the magic of this, in generally, that's the magic of this terrible and really challenging time we are living at. But also this is the place that we are taking our strength from.
I think, you said something made me think I would say, I used to say that a lot of Israeli tech and innovation, and from the interviews I've been doing for Israel Tech, have been coming through a lot through the military, through the need through the military. But you just described a lot of industries that aren't related to the military. Right. And so I think what we're starting, we've already been seeing for a few years, but it's coming more to the surface, is that Israeli tech is become now a thing of its own. It almost independent of the military in a sense, which is a good thing, that we can then go and take technologies that we've learned from the military, and now how can we, through our networks, now readapt them and change them for other things that aren't necessarily defense related, like maybe cybersecurity or AI, et cetera, but you're seeing it more now in food, in climate, in fintech, et cetera.
Israel is really famous for its intelligence units, right? A200 and so on. There's a lot of technology in the army, in the cybersecurity space, right? But now we're seeing this in other spaces of the military, right? Which we probably cannot imagine, right? You have the Iron Dome, by the way, which is an Israeli innovation to itself, right? I believe that we're going to see a lot of interesting, fascinating things.
But I'll make something up. I'm totally messing something up, right? So Iron Beam.
Like VR, for example. Units are going into houses with equipment that is basically, they're looking like a like half robots because they have abilities that they never had before. Hopefully, this will, help us stay,
Amen.
keep them alive and keep them safe. But the abilities of armies all over the world is amazing today, and I think because Israel is so strong in technology, then we can, combine the capabilities that we developed in the intelligence units, but also outside these units. And then, maybe this is going to be the space that is going to develop the next global companies out of Israel. We have the pioneers and say Iron Source and Mondays of the world. Maybe we'll have like the next, I don't know, army related or security, defense related, right? That's the word I was looking. It's defense tech.
Right. Yeah, and there's there's a lot of things that we can see that are used, let's say, in the military that you can see that technology and those individuals involved with that technology bring it into the private sector for regular use. So I was thinking like the different kind of robots that are being used to go into these houses full of terror in Gaza or in the tunnels. These maybe things can be, and the way that they maneuver and how that they can improve them, which the army is working to do. Are these the robots that we'll be seeing maybe helping us, being our home butler, helping people that might be handicapped, and we can see that use like that. The development of the iron beam, you can think of the laser technology. It's so cheap, which is why it's being developed. As that's going to be rolled out in the coming months, the people working on that laser technology, will they leave the army in a few years and then start something using that technology within lasers? It's so inexpensive to do other terrific things. Maybe laser eye surgery will improve, laser for other kinds of heating. Maybe there will be, how can we transform this into other kind of energy of creation, not just to destroy rockets that are being attacked on civilians. So I think in a sense, all this technology that we're seeing for defense and that's being prioritized and expedited right now in the military to keep us all safe, we can see very well that it will have massive ripple effect on helping the world and just regular people in our day-to-day lives. Thank you so much for joining us. I love what you guys are doing with Israeli Tech Delivers no matter what. The fact you're able to come together so quickly, bring people together that you've worked with or haven't, find new players to help make an impact on our Israeli tech ecosystem is terrific. I love what you guys are doing and what you're going to be doing in the future. So thank you so much. And for those that are watching this special episode of Israel Tech, you can follow Viola, Startup Nation Central, and G-CMO. And our lovely guests here, all the information is down in the description. And also everywhere you can follow Israel Tech on all of your favorite social media channels, Spotify and Apple.